Rachel.
I'm Phil.
We've been married for 12 years and we have an 8-year-old boy called Sam.
I think we just had what people would class like a normal life. General run of the mill of work, play with the family.
I remember vividly the day of Phil's accident. We'd had such a cliche thing to say, just the most ordinary of days. He was going on his work's Christmas night out. We dropped him off in the pub.
We had a few pints and I crossed over the road. The driver ran into me then. That's sort of all I can remember.
And then I got the call. My friend Vicky rang me and she said, "Have you heard?" And she said, "Phil's been in an accident." My brain just couldn't comprehend the enormity of what might be happening. So she said, "A car's hit him. He's on his way to hospital." And it was then when I knew he was on his way to Aintree Hospital, like our regional unit, I knew this was a big deal. We spoke with the doctor for the first time and they told me that Phil had sustained a catastrophic brain injury. Phil, I mean, he was absolutely covered in tubes, ventilated, completely unresponsive, and it was awful. And I didn't want that to be the end of our story. Sam was 4 at the time, and I just didn't know how I was going to tell him. I said, "Dad's very, very poorly." And he said to me, "Is he going to die?" And I said, "I don't know." And then Sam just said, "Is it Christmas?" And I thought, oh my God, I've got to do Christmas as well for the sake of the 4-year-old. Whilst also Phil was critically ill in hospital. I saw Phil on Christmas Day and it was just a very surreal experience. I remember taking in one of Sam's teddy bears and I put a Christmas hat on him and I put it on the bed next to Phil. Phil was in a very, very deep coma. They told me that Phil wasn't showing any signs of coming out of the coma. And they told me the worst case scenario would be that they would need to drill a hole in his skull to relieve some pressure. And if that wasn't to work, they would need to remove his skull. So they did drill the hole and it didn't work. I remember a really lovely consultant saying, "We're going to do the craniotomy, we're going to remove his skull." In the days that followed, this bandaged head became really big, like an alien head, really. And that worst case scenario of him needing a craniotomy was actually the best thing for Phil, because once it happened, his breathing started to stabilise, his heart rate started to stabilise. And as part of Phil's recovery, we made a list together of all the things he wanted to achieve. We break every goal down into something very small, very manageable, and we build up. So our advice for families is to figure out what it is that you want to achieve and take it step by step. Headway has been a total lifesaver for us, for my emotional health, for Phil's recovery. Brain injury is just one of those things you just never expect to happen. Our finances changed overnight. Thankfully, Headway are there to support you practically and financially when your life has completely fallen away.
Support by the bedside. It's not just about the person it's happened to, it happens to the families.